Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Thursday, 11:43 a.m. California time here. October 24th, 2024 is the date. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 2.9 here across the area of Turkey, it looks like. Let's go ahead and chat about Northern California here last night. Seen a little swarming of earthquake activity here at the extreme southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. With let's see what we got for total tally here. Looks like maybe about 11 earthquakes of somewhat moderate size. Had a couple fours stirring up in there. The largest one, a 4.4. You're gonna have to bear with me here, trying to keep my voice together. Picked up something here from the family recently, so I'm trying to kick it, but holding, kind of hanging in there too. 4.4 earthquake, the largest in this sequence of earthquakes here from last night. Normally, we'll see some type of event triggered, maybe triggering a sequence of activity like this, but this is just a bunch of earthquake activity all wound up into one sequence of events last night. I was waiting for something bigger to happen overnight. Still potentially could see something bigger with this type of activity that we observed here last night. Threes and fours in there with no main quake. That's an obvious sign there of something potentially lurking here in the near future for larger activity. Now, the tremor map here in the last couple days has shown most of the tremor across the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. So right where you would expect to see some surface rupture or some further strain going on upstream here. So we got that southern end. A day or so later, we got elevated seismic activity down here across the area. Even one earthquake up here as well, where the previous tremor was, up here across the south central coast here of Oregon. 1.5 at the Cascadia fold and thrust belt. So things are looking quite active out here across the southern end of the Cascadia. Now, so far today, looks like we got most of the movement from last night and super early this morning, a 2.3. About 2:30 in the morning is the latest quake here in this sequence of earthquakes there across Northern California. So we're still watching it, though. These wave patterns along the plate tectonics here come in, they come in series of waves. So we'll watch that maybe for some future uptick here soon. Southern California, a handful of smaller quakes down here. Really nothing of any major concern. Looks like a 2.5 so far today down outside the Lompoc area, south of Santa Maria on the Lion's Head fault zone. A couple other smaller quakes in the mix in there as well. Further out and about here, Ridgecrest area seen a handful of smaller quakes today. Nothing major here across Southern California. A little bit of separate movement around the Loma Linda area with a sequence of little small earthquakes here. Some twos and ones thrown in there. Looks like that's on the, hard to say which fault system that's on. Could be any number of these faults throughout the area, but just off the San Andreas fault here. So we're still keeping an eye on the current activity out here across the west coast. Yellowstone National Park, looks like we got a little swarming going on out there, so let's just go double check. See what we have from the Yellowstone overview. Goodness. Well, maybe not a swarm, but some earthquakes being reported here across the Maple Creek area. There's a handful of them. A couple in the background mix there as well. Nothing major. Looks like some ones out there. Nothing above that level. But looks like a little slight uptick going on there across the area today. Oil fields, Oklahoma. Still seeing some movement out there. Really nothing of any major concern for now. New Jersey area, one quake from yesterday. As far as anything worldwide going on here, we had some larger scale activity last night across the Aleutian Trench, a 5-pointer coming in. Also 5.1 right now to the Volcano Islands area. Way down south here, across the Mid-Indian Ridge, southern end, got a pair of 5s out here last night. And I know we had some further activity up here. Let's see. There's a 5.1 5-pointer. I thought we had a larger quake out. Well, maybe that was from yesterday here. on the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. I got to keep an eye on that. It's been interesting lately. I mean, we had a 6-pointer out here yesterday, early yesterday morning, with no subsequent earthquake activity, no swarming, no smaller quakes. That's it. Just gone awfully quiet here today. So I feel this area definitely capable of producing some larger quake activity here at any given time. Pretty soon, I think. The Aleutian Trench is noted. There's that 5-pointer. Typical movement going on out here across the Cook Inlet up into the Denali area. And as far as New Zealand goes down here, let's see what we have across the area. Looks like some older movement quakes there from yesterday. Pair of 5s into the Kermadec Trench. Pretty shallow there for that earthquake activity from yesterday. Middle America Trench, South America area. Still seeing some uptick out there, but nothing of any major activity. Just some 4s, even some 5s down here. At least one 5-pointer there across the Peruchili Trench. It's going to be this quake right up here, a little bit closer here to the subduction zone region. This is upstream from some of this deeper activity, and of course that's where most of the strain tends to build up when you see those big earthquakes out here across the subduction zone region. So we'll watch that. Keep an eye there on the west coast. Hawaii, nothing major stirring up out here for now. It looks like just some general small microquake activity out in the region. Let's see what else. Mediterranean region fairly quiet aside from some small microquake activity. The Atlantic, pretty quiet. There's an older movement quake there in the South Sandwich Trench from last night. Looks like that. Well, that's from early this morning. It looks like. Well, no, that's a Chile area. This earthquake right here is from a couple days ago, so it doesn't even look like they're reporting that 5-pointer that came into that area as far as the USGS reporting goes. Got that shallow adjustment and then some surface or deeper activity triggering here into the Aleutian Trench, so got to watch that. Been quite active over here across the northern rim here of the Pacific Plate recently. Quite a bit, mainly across the western half here of the Aleutian Trench. Not so much over here, but that doesn't mean that's not going to fill in, so got to watch that. It's a major subduction zone area. There's the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench with that 6-pointer, 6.2 in that quiet zone. All right, space weather activity. Got to get this out of here before my voice goes completely gone. There's our massive X-flare from last night. Fairly long duration X-flare, an X3.3 to be exact. Fairly decent. Unfortunately, this was not Earth-directed, but it looks like maybe we'll see a little bit of the effects from that flare, from that CME, here in a couple days, where they've added a little bit of potential aurora uptick here across the area. It looks like maybe on the 26th or so. But that's definitely not a major event. But this region, obviously, an area of interest because it's a large, massive area throwing out X-flare activity. Still looks like it wants to pop off some large X-flare movement. Looking at the complexity region here today shows us there's a lot going on here. That's a huge cluster of sunspots and a lot of intermingling here of the magnetic complexity within those sunspots. So that's when things can really start to stir up out here and pop off some X-flares. That will be rotating into the Earth-directed view here in the coming days, more Earth-directed. So if anything does pop off from their CME activity-wise, we'll definitely get the effects of it there days later following any large event. Aside from that, most of the activity from these other sunspots there fairly weak. Not a whole lot going on. So we'll watch this area as it gets into more of an Earth-directed view. Flare threat has been bumped up here as expected. X-flare at 15% chance. M-flare at 70. And there's their C-flare at 99% chance there. 3.3 from last night. All right, Storm Prediction Center here. Well, let's go back over here and check the Storm Prediction Center. Nothing major going on out here. Got some marginal risk here for some severe weather. Looks like mainly due to some hail potential out there. I know those guys are waiting on some rain Pretty dry out there. If you look on the drought map, I heard Oklahoma didn't get a lot of rain this summer down here, but other areas up north as well needing the rain. They'll get a little bit of it today with some slight chance of some hail out there as well. Looking at the extended models here, as we put this into motion, there's that thunderstorm activity and rain showers there throughout the day and later tonight. California got some cold systems knocking on the door out here through the Pacific Northwest, bringing with it rain and snow chances. Another one behind that as we head into the end of next week. And another one behind that. So that's actually a decent amount of storming coming in there. It looks like the storm door may be opening up. All right, so we got this model again, reverting back to a couple days back when it showed a strong hurricane hitting the Florida area and pretty much following the same path as Hurricane Helene did a number of weeks back. So we got to watch that. When it starts showing consistency there, that's when things need to be brought to attention here. That would not be good for those folks that are already dealing with, still trying to recover from the devastating hurricane effects there a couple weeks back. So this is around the 3rd to 4th of November. Now it's all dependent on where the jet stream is, what mitigating factors may play into steering this hurricane. And right now it's not looking good if that is the model that plays out. Again, that's a ways out, but we're getting closer. So we have to pay attention to these models as we get closer to this time period. Cooler weather up into the Pacific Northwest to start off November, it looks like. And I guess we'll just see how things go out here in terms of dipping into the winter months. I'd like to see a little bit more rain out here in California, but maybe the storm track here will dip a little bit further south. We'll have to watch that. Live stream went down suspiciously early in the morning after only, I think it went down about 1 o'clock in the morning. It was only up for 6 hours. It went down yesterday, so I'm not for sure what's going on. There's no major issues out here as far as internet issues go. No major wind. We got a little bit of wind out here, but really nothing of any major concern. But if it goes down, we'll get it back up again, I suppose. Little small earthquake showing there in the Port Moresby, New Guinea area. Aside from that, a little spike there in Southern California. We'll kind of watch things here today and see how it plays out. But I was definitely expecting to wake up to some larger scale potential or larger earthquake activity here in the area following that sequence of events there last night. Normally that's a sign there of some foreshock activity. All right, I'm backing out of here. Going to get me some chicken noodle soup maybe and see if I can get my voice back. Not a good thing to lose your voice here when you're used to talking on the radio and talking on the YouTube videos here. Definitely got to kick this here, so I'm going to do my best. See if I can't rid this. Have a good day, folks. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening for the Thursday night update. Stay safe.